Dear friends, welcome to this week's virtual Drasha. This week we have the incredible privilege of Parashas Bo. And in the course of this parasha, there are so many beautiful and incredible, dramatic, evolving narratives. There's the unfolding narrative of Jewish redemption. Remember, with the advent of the plagues, so slavery, as the Jews had known it for 210 years, ceased, but they were still held captive in Egypt. There's the emergence of Moshe Rabbeinu as a leader, advocating on behalf of Klal Yisrael, facing down a despotic, tyrannical, unpredictable Paro. And then there's the narrative of Paro himself, which is really perhaps, I think, one of the most fascinating narratives. The parasha opens with a simple statement. Vayomer shel Moshe, Hashem says to Moshe, Bo al Paro, come to Paro, ki ani hichbareti es libo ve'es leiv avadav. I've hardened his heart and the heart of his servants, leman shisi ososai eila bikirbo, in order to proliferate the miracles, my miracles within their midst. So, seemingly, Hashem is telling Moshe, listen, I just want to tell you, I want to set expectations. Paro's going to say no. Paro's going to be recalcitrant. Paro's not going to free the Jewish people. Why? Because I, God, have hardened his heart. And why have I hardened his heart? Because I want to do a lot of miracles. It is important for me to utilize this opportunity to promote certain theological messages. I need to show that there's a schar va'onesh, reward and punishment, that there's midah keneged midah, reciprocity. The Jewish people need to know that I always have their back and will always right all of the wrongs. And therefore, I've hardened Paro's heart. So setting expectations. A few psukim later, Moshe and Aaron approach Paro. And they come to warn Paro about the impending plague of Arba, of locusts. And they come, the pasuk says, Vayava Moshe v'Aaron al Paro v'yomer elav. Moshe and Aaron come to Paro and they say to him, Ko amar Hashem Elokei Avrim. So as God, the Lord of the Hebrews, has said, Ad maseh me'anta le'anos me'panei. How are you going to defy me? Shalach ami v'ya'avduni. Just free my people and let them serve me. Why? If you refuse to free my people, tomorrow I will bring locusts within your borders. So again, Moshe Rabbeinu saying to Paro, look, you have a choice. You have a choice. Either free the Jewish people now and spare yourself and your country the ravaging effects of the locusts, or suffer. So the Lubavitch Rebbe raises an interesting point, a simple question. I don't understand, this is contradictory. At the beginning of the parasha, Baruch Hu says to Moshe Rabbeinu, Ani yichbarti es leiv Paro, I've hardened Paro's heart, which presumably means Paro has no free choice. And yet, then Moshe Rabbeinu comes to Paro and says, Paro, you have a decision to make. Do you want to free the Jewish people or not? Which would seem to indicate that Paro does have free choice. So asks the Lubavitch Rebbe a simple question, so which one is it? Which one is it, Paro? Do you have free choice or do you not have free choice? It can't be both. And the Rebbe says something absolutely beautiful. The Rebbe says, V'yesh l'taretz. He answers this question quoting the Baal HaTanya of Shner Zalman of Liadi with an incredible and beautiful insight. The Baal HaTanya writes as follows: Shaf mi shene'emar alav ein maspikim v'yod la'asos tshuva. There are some people who lose the gift of tshuva. So there are certain averos which are so egregious, certain misdeeds that are just so unforgivable, that the Gemara says such a person who commits these type of deeds loses out on the opportunity for tshuva, for return, for change. Even such a person like that, look what the Baal HaTanya writes: Im dochak v'nischazek v'nisgaber al yitzro v'asa tshuva mekablin tshuvaso. If such a person pushes hard, if such a person is relentless in their desire to change, if such a person literally pushes, strengthens himself, and overcomes his wants, his desires, his lusts, his proclivities, and he does tshuva, Hashem has no choice but to accept it. And the Rebbe writes, Dahainu, af misha milamala machbiden alav tshuva. Even if Hashem decrees, kiviyachol, that either it's going to be difficult for you to do tshuva, maybe even impossible for you to do tshuva, mikol makom adayim yeshlo mishpat habechira, there is still free choice, lehidochek v'lasho b'tshuva, to push and ultimately do tshuva. What the Baal HaTanya and the Lubavitch Rebbe are both saying is something absolutely incredible. In life, there are certain things where when the door closes, the door is closed. There's nothing you can do about it, right? Certain opportunities, they come and they go. And when they're here, I can take advantage. But if the door closes, I can't access it again. There's no second chances. You can't go back. You can't regain the opportunity. The ship has sailed. The door has closed. I have to move on. Just like there are certain things in life which are impossible. No matter how hard I try, I cannot make it happen. But the Rebbe says something so incredibly profound. When it comes to tshuva is never impossible. And even if Hashem says you can't do tshuva, And even if Hashem says tshuva is going to be too difficult for someone like you, and even if the Gemara says that you committed an aveira for which there is no tshuva, the Balatanya writes, all that means is try harder. All that means is push yourself more, because there is one thing, really only one thing in this world that is not impossible. And that's tshuva. And that's return. And that's change. And that's self-transcendence. And that's the ability to turn yourself and your life around. That is never impossible. And even if people tell you it's impossible, and even if circumstantially it looks impossible, and even if Hashem himself says that it's impossible, it's still possible. Therefore, says the Lubavitch Rebbe, taking this idea from the Balatanya, it's not a contradiction. When Hashem says to Moshe, Ki ani ichbarati es libo, I hardened Paro's heart, that's Hashem either saying, I've made it unusually difficult for Paro to do tshuva, or maybe, in the natural order of things, it's impossible for Paro to do tshuva. But even if Hashem says it's impossible for Paro to do tshuva, even if Hashem quote unquote says it's impossible to do tshuva is always possible. There's no such thing as a person who doesn't have the ability to access the profound cathartic power of tshuva. There are things in life that are impossible. There are things in life that can't get done. There are doors that close and can never be reopened again. But when it comes to tshuva, when it comes to change, when it comes to becoming someone different, self-transcendence, it may be difficult. It may be even, quote unquote, impossible. But when it comes to tshuva, even the impossible is possible. See, even Paro with a hardened heart, even Paro with what appears to be the removal of certain free will, if he puts his mind to it, he has the ability to go ahead and do tshuva. You know, it's reminiscent of a beautiful shla. The Shla HaKadosh says, quotes the Gemara, and the Gemara is talking about the etiquette of being a guest. And the Gemara says, Kol ma shetomar elecha ba'al habayis aseh chutz mitzeh, which literally means anything when you're a guest at someone's house. So you have to give in to the wishes of the host, right? The host wants you to take food first. You have to, okay. The host wants you to bench, right? The host wants you to have share in the nice one. Whatever the host tells you to do, you're supposed to do. The Gemara says one exception. Say, if the host tries to throw you out of the house, you don't have to listen. You don't have to listen. So the truth is, interestingly enough, that Gemara seems to be a response of Chazal to the story of Kamsa Bar Kamsa. We know that famous story again of the feuding duo who ultimately caused the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, and it all started because one person kicked another person out of a meal. So in response to that, Chazal said, when you're a guest at someone's house, you have to listen to your host. You have to do everything he tells you, except if he kicks you out, you don't have to leave. Okay, how that actually plays out practically, I'm not sure. Right? But the Shla HaKadosh says something so beautiful. He says it's a theological statement. Kol mashet tomar elecha balabayis. I say, who's the balabayis? Who is the ultimate balabas? Who is the ultimate host? It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every single thing that Ribono Shalom tells you to do, you have to do. Kol mashet tomar elecha balabayis. I say there are 613 mitzvahs. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells me to do it, I have to do it. There's a Shulchan Aruch, I have to do it. There's a Mishnah Berurah, I have to do it. There's a Gemara, I have to do it. There's a Shana, I have to do it. Whatever Hashem tells me to do, I have to do. With one exception, chutz mitzeh. What does it mean, chutz mitzeh? If Hashem says to me, Silber, get out of here. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't want you anymore. Or Cheshach Baruch Hu says, say, go out and you cannot return. Hashem says to me, tshuva is impossible for me. He gets so upset at me that he whispers in my ear, say, go away, I don't want you anymore. I don't have to listen. I don't have to listen. We're conditioned our whole lives to whatever Cheshach Baruch Hu says, I have to listen. So the Shla HaKadosh, you're right. There's only one thing that you don't have to listen. And that's, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, get out of here, I don't want you anymore. I don't want a relationship with you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to me, you know what, you've messed up too much. There's no more tshuva for you. You know what I say? Hashem, okay, noted. I'm not listening. I'm not leaving. I'm going to do tshuva. I'm coming back. I don't care, you want me, you don't want me, it's almost irrelevant to me. I always have the power of tshuva and I'm always going to use it. The incredible lesson in the story of Paro is, we often give Paro a pass on his bad behavior because because we think that means Paro has no choice. He has no ability. What it means is, no, Hashem made it very difficult for him. And maybe even Hashem did remove his free choice. But even in the absence of free choice, tshuva is still possible. Hear that, Chevra? Even in the absence of free choice, change is possible. Such is the power of tshuva. Such is the power of change, that even if the Ribono Shel Olam hardens your heart, if you want to change, you can. So powerful is change that even if the Baal Habayis Kadosh Baruch Hu says, "Say, get out of here," and I don't want you anymore, I don't have to listen. I don't have to listen. I could change myself. I could change my life. I could do things differently, and I could become a Baal Tshuva. We speak so much about change, because the greatest gift in life is the ability to change, the ability to become someone better, someone different. And when I say someone different, it doesn't mean, leaving everything I have, but just evolving, engaging in the process of self-transcendence. We all have things about ourselves that we want to fix. And if I don't have things that I want to fix, it probably just means I'm not thinking or contemplative enough. But there's always stuff to fix. There's always stuff to amend. There's always stuff that I want to tailor a little bit better. And sometimes we feel so stuck because we think we can't change. And you know what? You're right. There are a lot of things in life you can't change. There are a lot of realities in life that are immutable, unchangeable, and unmovable. That is absolutely true. But there is one thing in life that you could always change, and that's you. And no matter what your circumstances are, you might not be able to change everything, but you could always change something. You might not be able to change everything, but you could always change something. Paro, even with a hardened heart, could affect change if he wanted to. It turns out that the tragedy of the Paro story is he didn't want to. He didn't want to, or at least he didn't want to badly enough to try to access it, but he had the power. Even with a hardened heart, even with a heart hardened by the Ribono Shel Olam himself, Paro, the Drasha, the persecutor of our people, had the ability to affect change had he chosen to do so. And if that's true for Paro, then all the more so, Chevra, the incredible power that we have as well. The power of change is the greatest gift Hashem has given us. The ability to be about tshuva is the greatest gift that Ribono Shel Olam has given us. All we need to do is access it and find the koach to utilize it. We should be zochem Yirtzeh Hashem, whether we have a hardened heart or a softened heart, whichever one it is, to recognize that no matter what my current state is, the gift, ability, and opportunity to become a Baal Tshuva is waiting for each of us. Wishing everyone a good Erev Shabbos and a beautiful Shabbos Kodesh.